In the year 1933, Adolf Hitler begins to take over Germany. Hitler used a film called S.A. Mann Brand to teach the citizens of Germany about the Nazis.
This use of Nazi propaganda tells the story of a young truck driver who was having trouble making ends meet. He is then exposed to the teachings of Hitler and the Nazis. The young man convinces his father and his girlfriend the Nazi way is the right way to live.
This movie got the citizens of Germany convinced that Hitler knew what he was doing and that he would be a good leader.
Along with creating the movie, Hitler hired a man named Joseph Goebbels. Goebbels was the head of the Nazi propaganda. He created many posters and movies to make the Nazis and Hitler look good.
Throughout the years, Hitler and Goebbels made many posters. They included Hitler Youth, which was school for pure German children. In this school, they learn about the Nazis and war strategy.
During this time, Hitler was also finding ways to start getting posters up about the Jewish people.
Hitler's posters showed the Jewish people having big, fat noses, and the looks on their faces were sad or mean. The Jewish people in the poster were wearing all black and looked wealthy.
Hitler wanted the people of Germany to think that the Jews were the enemy because they were the richer people in society, and he claimed they were taking all the money and jobs in Germany.
Hitler filmed another movie, but this time it went along with his posters. The film name translated to Eternal Jew. This film is basically comparing the Jewish people to rats.
And the Far East. Wherever rats turn up, they carry destruction to the land by destroying mankind's goods and nourishment and spreading diseases and plagues, such as cholera, dysentery, leprosy, and typhoid fever. They are cunning, cowardly, and cruel, and usually appear in massive hordes. They represent the elements of sneakiness and subterranean destruction among animals, just as the Jews do among mankind.
On September 1st, 1939, the Nazis invaded Poland. This event marked the beginning of World War II.
Hitler's army continues to thrive the next few years with more invasions.
On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese army attacked Pearl Harbor in Oahu, Hawaii.
Up to this point, the U.S. kept its distance from Great War, but after the attack, the U.S. decided to join in the fighting.
Many people kept up on their news with the newspapers, TV, and radios.
Pearl Harbor is now being attacked. This is an emergency communique from the Hawaiian Defense Headquarters. The roar of the planes you now hear is not a practice maneuver now. It's not a maneuver. We're being attacked. It's an air raid.
The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December the 7th, 1941, here dramatically shot by Japanese film crews for propaganda purposes, not only crippled America's Pacific Fleet, it changed the course of history. After this massive attack, Europe's war became America's, as Senator Connolly, chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, made abundantly plain.
With unbelievable treachery and craftiness, Japan has attacked our territory and murdered American citizens. Japan began this war in treachery. We shall end it in victory.
Within hours of the Pearl Harbor raid, American Army and Navy officers were called from their homes and weekend golf clubs to meet at the War Department to prepare to retaliate. President Roosevelt officially informed Congress that a state of war now existed between the United States and Japan. Within hours, Congress gave him the authority to prosecute the conflict all out. The legacy of the raid was enormous. 5 American battleships were sunk or damaged beyond repair. 200 aircraft were destroyed and more than 2,400 people killed. But more than that, Pearl Harbor led directly to what truly became the Second World War.
With the American men off to war, the U.S. citizens used posters to help the war efforts. Some posters include planting a victory garden, using rations, and victory savings bonds.
The tall man with a hard hat and a whiskers on his chin will soon be knocking at your door, and you ought to be in. The tall man with the hard hat will be coming down your way. Get your savings out when you hear him shout, "Any bonds today?" Come on and get 'em, folks. Come on, get right up and get 'em. Any bonds today? Bonds of freedom, that's what I'm selling. Any bonds today? Scrape up the most you can. Here comes the freedom man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today. Many stamps today. Give kiddies. We'll be blessed. We all invest in the USA. Sammy, my Uncle Sammy. Here comes the freedom man. You can't make tomorrow's plan, not unless you buy a share of freedom today. Any stamps, any bonds today.
Sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men.
With the American men off to war, the jobs were left to the women. Until this time, millions of American women have never worked outside their homes. Rosie the Riveter became a symbol for women working for the war efforts in the media.
All the day long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, the Riveter, keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage, that little frail can do more than a male can do. Rosie, the Riveter. Rosie's got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine. Rosie is protecting Charlie, working overtime on the riveting machine. When they gave her a production knee, she was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue about Rosie, the Riveter.
In December 1942, more than 13 million women were working. The jobs that needed employees were in war production plants and necessary civilian services, as both were essential to support the country.
The nation's major magazines devoted their September 1943 covers to portrayals of women in war jobs, creating approximately 125 million advertisements. Woman power ads, most of which were full pages, were among the interior pages of these magazines.
Rosie, the Riveter. Rosie, 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 working on assembly line. Bubble day, bubble dee dee leave it on that'll day. Reevy boy, reevy boy, reevy. Rosie, 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 the riveter on the assembly line.
That's all. On June 6, 1944, more than 160,000 Allied troops landed along a 50-mile stretch of French coastline to fight Nazi Germany on the beaches of Normandy.
More than 5,000 ships and 13,000 aircraft supported the D-Day invasion, and by the day's end, the Allies gained a victory.
By late August 1944, all of northern France had been liberated, and by the following spring, the Allies had defeated the Germans. The Normandy landings have been called the beginning of the end of the war in Europe. The atomic bomb is on the rise, and citizens all over the U.S. and other countries are preparing for a nuclear war. Students were shown clips in school on what to do in any situation.
Dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.
In August of 1945, the American troops bombed the city of Hiroshima in Japan. This is now the end of the war.
On August 14th, the U.S. troops celebrate with a victory over Japan. This was known as VJ Day.
World War II was known as the Propaganda War. The developing media that was used during this war was crucial for all countries in their fights for victory.